Good morning, 97.1. Pitchers and catchers reporting today for the Tigers. Justin Verlander's a Detroit Tiger, and this team's payroll is in the top 10 of all of baseball. John, we can say they've delivered on the promise that once this team was competitive, they made the playoffs back-to-back years, they would spend. The resources would be there. We had been clamoring for it. We had been critical of it. But we got to give them their flowers, John. They delivered on the promise by adding Valdez, throw in the Verlander commitment. They have $100 million in the rotation alone. Nobody else is compared to that in this division. Nobody else is in the top half of baseball in this division. And the Guardians as a team aren't spending $100 million total. This team ponied up. We can kill the narrative about being cheap and penny pinching. This team, and Scott Harris specifically, backed up his words. He said, Greg, can we play this for people? This is Scott Harris, and we played this a lot over the last couple years. And they have.
How many times have we used that against Scott Harris and asked the question, when?
It's been the subject of several, smarm alarms.
Yeah.
But it's all flowers today, and it's all love today because they delivered.
And they are, if I know people are going to have one argument, and that is, hey, you didn't add a bat this offseason. Okay, that's fine. That is a legitimate argument. I'm not going to argue against it. What I will say, though, is this, you're spending around the core. They believe there is a core for this team. And I believe it as well. Now, it may not be as good of a core as we want, but it's still a core that is young and developing, and you're going to have the chance to go and add a bat or bats at the trade deadline. Spencer Torkelson, what does he do following up the surprise season that he had last year? Riley Green, is there a chance that he doesn't strike out as much as he did last year? Colt Keith, is he allowed to get better?
Find a home and settle in?
Kerry Carpenter. Like, you go down the list of guys. Parker Meadows, is he the guy that we saw 2 years ago at the end of the season, or is he what we saw last year? Now, I'm not sitting there and saying every one of these guys is going to be better.
Some will struggle.
Some will struggle, which is why you have until the trade deadline with this pitching staff, with the other bats around them, to be in a position of controlling the division and then going out and adding a bat or bats that'll put you over the top in October.
I completely agree with the assessment. And maybe it surprised people because I could be the guy leading the charge going, they still don't have my hot corner bat. They still didn't add the right-handed infielder. They have a bunch of guys that they have to sort out and settle, and they're going to do it while sitting perched atop first place in this division because of the pitching. Mm-hmm. So if and when they get to the deadline, do I believe they'll do something? Well, I certainly believe more now than I ever did. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of what they did this offseason, jolting this team into the top 10 of payroll, legitimately adding some dudes. Valdez was the best pitcher available. Going out and making those moves, it does reinforce and create a belief that they will do something at the trade deadline. They will be in the thick of this, and they should do something at the deadline, and they have every reason to. John, you don't pay Valdez almost $40 million a year to not make a push. You don't have a $200 million payroll and sit on your hands at the trade deadline. No, I think this was a big step up for the organization.
I think we can have a funeral. I think we can bury the walleye drop.
Oh,
we don't need.
We even have it still?
No, I don't. I mean, we didn't have to play it. I mean, we could have played it at the end of last year, but yeah, I don't think we're going to need that anymore because we're not talking right now about Bregman. We're not talking about any other individual. Now, would we like to add somebody at the trade deadline?
Sure.
Absolutely. But you have that, and a guy that I didn't even talk about that I hope starts the season with the team, and they have up until the trade deadline to figure out, is he going to be able to be for real this year? Mm-hmm. That is Kevin McGonigal. Like, give him a couple of hundred bats and find out, and then find a home for him. If the bat pays off, then, hey, could he be your third baseman? Can he be your shortstop? Can he, where is he going to be?
Well, again, it's a jump when you get to the bigs, but he profiles as that contact bat that we've been asking for. And I'm very hesitant to expect a lot of a player in his very first major league season.
But you give him time.
But you can make that evaluation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's let's get to the phones, but I think the big question now is, as the Tigers get set to launch their own TV venture with MLB, now that they've spent, will you? So we don't have a price yet, John, but looking around the league, the standard is typically your $20 a month or $100 for the season to watch the team. Now, that's for the streaming plan. I don't know what it's going to do to your cable bill. Just work with us here. We don't have the pricing, but are you more into this? Are you willing to spend because they spent? Are you going to go to the ballpark more this season? And I don't know, if you went to 1 or 2 games, is this now 5? If you went to 5, is it now 10? Try to quantify how excited you are with the spending and the promise of this season. Pitchers and Catchers report today, 248-539-9797. Will you be spending more because they did?
100%. And so, I mean, I've talked about this before. I always get the MLB, so I want to watch all of baseball. But it felt before, for me, like it was a responsibility somewhat. It was 50-50 joy, 50-50 responsibility for doing the job. Now, it's going to be 100% joy of being able to watch good baseball. Good, really good baseball for a team that has identified themselves. Yes, we are going to spend. Yes, we are going to compete. We are going to commit. So I'm in.
Yeah, like I couldn't get enough of Tiger baseball when they were spending in those early 2010s, right? And really the late 2000s. I felt like I wasn't working in media. I felt like I wanted to watch 100+ baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
And, for what we do, I've paid and I would pay because we have to, but now I want to. You see, that's the difference, right? Is now you want to watch this baseball team.
The joy factor is there. The excitement factor is there. And I'll add one more caveat to it. Not only are you willing to spend for the TV package, I yesterday went online and said, okay, which games do I want to take the family to? Are you going to be willing to spend more for tickets and go to more games because you want to be there in person and watch this team perform, whether it's a Skubal start, whether it's a Verlander start, or it's a Valdez start? Like, it really doesn't matter to me.
That's a great point, because when this team was at its finest in terms of attendance, they were running out of rotation that you couldn't go wrong with. It's not like you were getting stuck with TBA. And I know that worked a little bit, but in terms of selling tickets, you don't want to go to the ballpark and have no idea who's going to take the mound. Now, if it's not Skubal, it might be JV. If he can't get you with JV, it might be Valdez, who's the highest paid pitcher on this team, who consistently ends up in the Cy Young race, right? And if it's not any of those guys, Jack Flaherty's he's a hell of an arm too, right?
Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize. And what do they do with Troy Melton? Does the Reese Olson thing, like before we had the Reese Olson news, I kind of thought like maybe Troy Melton starts in the minors and they bring him up when they need him. But like, there's excitement no matter who's on the mound.
All right, we'll get the phone calls. We'll read the texts. It's 97.1.